So instead of asking, what do you do, which is a very, very
so
common
annoying.
question, I like to ask, what do you do
For fun?
No, what do you do for most of your day? What do you do for most of your week?
Yeah, that's nice.
It's going to be a natural answer. Well, I work. Okay. Then you can ask, what do you enjoy most about your work?
Yeah.
Right? That makes you want to spend most of your time there.
It's definitely more inquisitive and intentional, and you'll get a more open-ended response as well, right?
All right, everyone. Welcome back to In the House podcast. My name is Jenny Woon.
I'm Toni Singh.
Well, for many people, the word networking makes them want to hide under the covers.
I know so many people that just really don't like it.
Well, of course, you have to use your charm. You have to chat it up. The idea of networking can scare people, can feel exhausting. But the truth is, networking is a huge part of our business.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though part of running a real estate business, what that looks like is expanding your sphere of influence, allowing you to collect industry relevant information. It helps you generate leads. Here's the thing. I know it's not everybody's favorite thing to do, especially the follow-up.
Yeah, and I think it could depend on personality type as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for people that are extroverted, yeah, they're probably going to thrive in a networking environment versus, someone that's introverted. It's not really, it can take a lot of energy from you.
So this episode is talking about how to network in small and big events. And it's not just about exchanging business cards. It's not about talking about your business.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about developing paramount connections that will open doors to opportunities that maybe could have been hidden, that maybe you would have never known that there's an opportunity there. And so how effectively can you communicate during these network sessions is really important.
Yeah, I think we did an episode on networking before as well, where we were focused on meaningful connections.
Right.
But you could say that and people are like, well, how do you actually build the meaningful connections? I don't even know this person. They're strangers. So we have some tips for you. Tip number 1, make networking a lifestyle. What does it mean? I'm going to let you speak to that because you're a master networker.
Am I?
Yeah, I think so.
You're okay.
I think so.
Okay. Well, I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a master at it. It's more so I like to attend different venues to see where doors can open.
And that's an excellent way of looking at it and shows very good mindset as well.
And so it doesn't mean that you have to hand out a business card or share your QR code of your business card at your kid's baseball game or at a PAC meeting at their school. It really just means you are building it kind of daily into your interactions that you're doing every day anyways. So more than anything, people love, number 1, to hear their favorite word, which is their name.
Okay.
So when you actually get to know people and what their roles are and how they're, maybe you're at a meeting. Why is it they're there? Like, be curious. Why are they there?
Yeah.
Right? Why is it important that they're involved in an organization or in a pickleball team or in a book club? Why are they so excited to be part of the happy hour or maybe the classic like golf tournament? Really trying to understand, maybe perhaps connecting on a core value basis.
Yeah, and showing genuine interest in the other person without coming from I'm networking for business. That's so boring.
So it's boring, but also can be, like you said, like it can be energy draining.
Yeah.
So when you just make it a part of your lifestyle in terms of what you like to do anyways, it's going to be more of a natural process.
Yeah, you know what? It's so funny because I should probably go to my son's school more often. Normally, David does the pick up and drop off. But the parents that I have relationships with there now, the odd time that I'm there, it came from a real place of like, oh, genuine interest. Oh, your kid's in soccer too. Say more about that. Or like, what do you guys do on the weekends? Those kinds of things. And actually, so funny. because I've worked with 3 of them now recently as clients.
Right.
But that wasn't the intention. I was just genuinely interested in, if the families have similarities because our kids get along.
See how easy that is?
It was super easy.
Yeah. And even in my volleyball, like when I play volleyball and I'm connecting with people, we go for dinner after, it just naturally comes up as part of
and you're doing something
what
fun.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, so enjoyable.
I have to play volleyball anyways.
So another point in relation to effective networking is looking for ways to help. As a real estate professional with specialized training and tons of experience, you are one of the most informed people in the room, specifically when it comes to anything real estate. We get to know about schools, development projects, zoning, up-to-date information that might be changing on a legislative level, interest rates, pricing, product knowledge, hot new restaurants or coffee shops. We all know a ton of people, and our job is to be great at connecting with them.
I want to chat about agents who are posting on social media their knowledge and authority about zoning and about interest rates and about new taxes that come up. But they're not really explaining how they can help their client with that information. Does that make sense?
It totally does, because if you look at our social media right now, I just didn't bother posting about it. We send valuable information out to our clients via newsletter. So there's other information. It goes a bit deeper than like, oh, the BC budget announced this.
Right.
So sure, that's good. It's good to know that. Yep. And how does it actually affect you and your future plan?
Okay.
So it also kind of like we're not as mainstream. So I'm like, okay, I see what's happening here. I could just comment on that or say where we think things are actually headed.
Well, there are certain agents where I see, and I also receive their newsletter, they're just cut and pasting that information from an article that's from
it's
CT.
already out there, though.
It's already out there.
And it's good.
But what does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Interpretation is key. You could have a classroom of 30 students in, let's say, a mathematics class or some kind of class. And their interpretation, well, not mathematics, that's a poor example. History. Their interpretation of the historic events from an actual textbook could also be different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another way to network is just being prepared with every interaction, anytime you're connecting with any human being. So you have your elevator pitch ready to go. Elevator pitch is just like a one-liner. I help families to upgrade into their home that will create memories.
That's a nice one.
I just made that on the spot. And I feel like you're not taking advantage of every interaction that is possible, whether you're waiting in line for somebody and you're talking to someone behind you or in front of you at the grocery line or at the coffee shop.
You know what's funny? I'm just thinking about all the times where networking from that genuine connection, like the first point about being curious. I had someone call my office the other day. They're actually from 2 or 3 years ago. And I guess we formed a genuine interaction. They called my office to try and find me because they wanted to purchase real estate. But it was funny because I wasn't actually speaking to them at all in the way that I was coming from a real estate perspective, but it just genuinely came up in the conversation.
Okay.
And then they're like, oh, can you? So anyhow, they bought. But it was just so funny because you never know what opportunities are going to come up. So it is important to know, well, form the genuine connection. And then also, what is it that you do? They knew that I was a realtor. I don't think I gave them an elevator pitch, but I've noticed that in those scenarios where I'm not looking for a business, it just finds me.
Here's a example. So I sell quite a bit of things on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, do you? You're one of those.
I love cleaning out my place. Like I don't like to hoard.
Yeah.
So I had a Nikon lens.
Ooh.
And the Nikon lens I sold it to this person months ago. As I was unpacking, because I recently moved from one place to another, I found the original box and another attachment to that lens. And I was
awesome.
like, well, there's no point in me keeping this. And I didn't want to throw it out. And I said, okay, this person, which is like a Japanese couple, this Japanese couple would appreciate this.
Of course they would.
Right. And so I then tracked the previous texting on Facebook Marketplace. I said, hey, I just want to apologize. I actually found the original box and an attachment to the lens. I'm wondering if you I'm not sure if this is going to be useful, but I'm wondering if you want it. So they said, thank you so much. You're so honest, and we'll come by when we get a chance to. So let's say, I would say maybe a month later, they came to pick it up, but my meeting spot is always at my brokerage.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't get them to meet me at my home.
Yeah.
So they asked me for my business card. We know a few people
that are
awesome.
looking to, I love it.
That are looking to sell.
Yeah.
And we would love to connect you guys. So we're now talking with.
But that's how so if we're living in possibility and we're looking at opportunities and we're focused on connection, these things automatically happen. You don't have to quote unquote work hard. It will find you. And this happened from you being integrous, honest, transparent. You went the extra mile to get in touch with them. Had nothing to do with real estate, but people connect with that on a human level because it's the most important thing.
Exactly. And it just really aligns with.
I love that story.
Setting networking expectations. So when you are collecting emails, for example, I would go into every meeting and every networking and decide, okay, what kind of interaction do I want to have in this session? What do I want to gain out of it? So most people go into party. Most people, maybe some people are there because they have to, they feel like they have to do it.
Ooh. You're not going to have the results if that's the feeling.
Exactly. So I would say when you set expectations prior to going, I'll give you an example with Burnaby Board of Trades.
Yes.
Okay. My expectation is that I am going to shake 10 people's hand. That is my goal, is to meet 10 new people who I never talked to before so that I can get to know their business. Because at Burnaby Board of Trades, it's easy to always just talk to people that you already know and you've already met and you understand their business. But it's always great. You're putting a lot of effort into showing up to these networking, and you can already easily probably call them for coffee on one-on-one if you've already met them. But go to a networking function with the understanding that you're going to be there to meet new people and expand on your sphere of influence.
You know what? I'm glad that you said that. It's true. When I used to go to the States every quarter when I was a newer agent, and I used to go to the Mike Ferry events with John Tsai, our good friend at EXP. It's funny because sometimes I actually wouldn't sit with him. I'm like, well, the intention as well is like, I'm going to see you later, but the intention is for me to be in a whole new group of people so that we can strategize, maybe form a mastermind and learn from one another.
Right.
So I totally get that. What?
This makes me laugh because every time you and I are at a conference, we sit next to each other and we're just so busy working in between.
Should we not do that anymore?
But I will not take offense if you don't sit next to me at the next conference.
The managing broker one that we went to, I wanted to sit next to you. I'm like, this is good. I was actually there for a different purpose, which was to learn. To be honest, it wasn't to network with the other managing brokers at that time.
Oh my gosh.
That was...
yeah. That was with your dad too.
Oh yeah, Jim. Yeah. Jim came to that. That was funny.
Yeah.
He learned a lot too. Okay, the next one, we've talked about this so many other times in this podcast as well. Actually listen.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing more infuriating than when you're speaking with someone and you can either tell they're distracted, they're looking the other way, they're looking for other people in the room. They asked me a question maybe, and they clearly didn't get anything that I said because they were not actually listening.
Most people will already try to find a response.
They might be getting nervous, I guess. Like some people are not
nervous, or they want to talk before that person, or they feel like what they have to say is more important. But the most effective communication is actually listening.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So don't be that person when you at a networking event ask a question
and then already have an answer for it.
Listen to the answer. Very impactful.
Right. And that's just great manners, when you're having a casual conversation and you make it about you. I feel like that person would really feel like, well, yeah, this person's not listening. I'm going to talk to another person.
I feel like I should have this conversation with my kids.
What are you going to say to them?
Well, Stevie's 3 and she's like, it's all about me. I'm like, excuse me, I'm speaking right now. She doesn't care. But, we should talk about that.
Were you like that when you were a kid?
I was the worst. She's exactly like, it was the worst. And so now I'm struggling with her, and she's very strong-willed, which I suppose is a great thing for her. It's hard on my husband and I, but it's good. And I want her to continue on with that. It's challenging though.
It's funny you say that because my sister, her eldest kid is a girl. And my niece has been it was very difficult for my mom, for my sister to raise her. And almost, to the point where my sister's like, I don't think I could be her mom. Like, I don't press myself as her mom. And I think because she is very strong-willed, she's very independent as well.
Stevie's like that too.
The funny thing is I get along with her, obviously, because I'm her aunt.
But that's why, but it's different if it's your kid, because
of course,
she doesn't listen. She does whatever she wants to do. And she's okay with the risk and consequences. I'm like, I don't know how to parent that. And then David kindly reminded me, as did my parents, that she's like me. She's like, so what are you going to do? I'm like, I have no idea how to deal with it.
You deal with it.
I don't know how to deal with it.
Oh, man.
Because I'll just do what I want. I'm like, I'm like, no, it doesn't matter what you say. I'm going to do it the way that I want to do it.
Oh, man.
Anyways, the next point. So if you're talking to new people, the quality of questions is really important too, right? Thinking of good questions.
Right. And I would say this is part of the preparation.
Okay.
So instead of asking, what do you do? Which is a very, very
so
common
annoying
question. I like to ask, what do you do
for fun?
No, what do you do for most of your day? What do you do for most of your week?
Yeah, that's nice.
It's going to be a natural answer. Well, I work. Okay. Then you can ask, what do you enjoy most about your work?
Yeah.
Right. That makes you want to spend most of your time there.
It's definitely more inquisitive and intentional, and you'll get a more open-ended response as well, right? Rather than if I said to you, Jenny, what do you do? I saw real estate. But
there's the end.
There's the end.
Period. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I asked you this question, what do you do? What do you do, Toni? How are you going to answer?
Like for most of my day?
Yeah, for most of your day. What do you do for most of your day?
Yeah, this is good. Okay, what do I do for most of my day? My day consists of a lot. I manage my team. I connect with clients. I try and be there for my kids and my husband as much as possible. And there it's open-ended, right? Then it's like, oh, what do you mean? It could be what do you do? Or, oh, tell me more about that. Or it sounds like you're talking about work-life balance. How's that going for you? Do you have any tips for me? I don't know. But yeah, I love that point, Jenny. Definitely the open-ended questions and thinking of good questions, very important for getting that connection with new people.
How do you spend most of your time? What do you do for fun? Have you had negative or positive experiences? What kind of negative and positive experiences have you had with realtors? What's the biggest lesson you've ever learned or through a transaction? What's something that you've done that I should do?
I'm just thinking right now of a story of someone. This is funny because I was in a meeting. Well, so it wasn't networking, but it was because it was like meeting new people. There was a few of us there, but a smaller group. And we were there for a presentation on this massive investment fund. So it was finance, which isn't always that exciting to most people. And then the guy who was doing the presentation, I went up to him after and I said to him, because it was kind of dry. I'm like, you're talking about billions of dollars of funds, blah, 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 numbers. And then I said to him, hey, listen, I'm curious. What's your why for doing this? And he was like, what? I'm like, what's your why for doing this presentation and how does it relate to your life? Like, why are you doing it?
Right.
And he's one of my very close friends now. We always talk about real estate, but it's so funny because no one's ever asked him that. And then I actually found in that question that we're very aligned spiritually, but also in our decision making. He also runs a massive finance team. So it's funny because I'm like, oh, there's more to this. And then it's just interesting. The questions that you ask, be very intentional about it. Think outside of the box as well, but come from a place of curiosity.
Had you not asked the why question, do you think your friendship would be at this level?
We would never have talked again. We would never have talked again, probably, because like it would have been surface level. I would have maybe asked him questions about the investment fund, but it's not aligned. Does that make sense? It's not like, so I got from his answer of my question of what's your why, he wants everybody to be financially independent outside of the regular system. It was interesting because it also showed me that he's very growth mindset and he actually is a very spiritual person because we got talking about other things. And then it was like, whoa, this is amazing. How do we connect clients and the right B2B business relationships to one another? So it was very interesting, but it just came from a place of like, why is this guy, he was young. He's young. I'm like, this guy is talking about these $1 billion funds, like blah, blah, blah numbers, but why?
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny. I interviewed like a financial advisor at one private firm, and it was great that, they perform. They're one of the biggest companies in BC. And then I interviewed another smaller private investor. She was from a smaller firm. They don't really necessarily invest in the same funds, but it's still performing as well. But they're not, on the top 10 list.
It's fine.
Okay. But I had such a great connection with the private investor from the smaller firm because we talked about our why. Why are we in this business? She wants to help women be more financially independent.
Yeah.
On top of that, she has an accounting background. So she provided me with so many tax advice during our
It's
meeting.
valuable.
Brought me to lunch, and not because she brought me to lunch, but I think we spent a little bit more time getting to know, like, why do we save the way we save? Why do we spend the way we spend? And that
it's not surface level. It's deeper.
It's way deeper. It's not talking about the performance of the portfolio where my money was going to be going into. It was really about, what does money and wealth mean to us, right?
Absolutely.
What does that retirement look to us?
But that's exciting.
Yes.
It's exciting. And when you find alignment there with someone who's also very professional and top of what they do, there are amazing things that happen. It's just so much more fun.
I absolutely connected a lot deeper with her. And for that type of conversation to, how can I provide value for you and how can you provide value for me?
Of course.
Allowed us to continually engage. And then I invested in their portfolio, which I feel much more aligns with like them looking after my assets, right? My future.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So just going that extra mile of understanding, what we want to experience and even just our biggest why.
Yeah.
Is part of the networking.
I totally forgot about that until we were filming this episode. Okay. Asking for help.
Yeah. Asking for help. Why we're often in a position to ask for help, which I believe you and I have, well,
what?
I feel like I've learned to ask for help because I know I can't do it myself.
I'm learning to ask
you
for help.
You are definitely learning, and I've definitely seen the difference in the past year. And just knowing that you don't know everyone. So when you're asking for help from your advocates, your cheerleaders, hey, can you help me build my business? Your referrals are the biggest compliment that I can ever receive.
Yeah.
How can you provide more support? And how can I help you support me?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm even thinking right now that this is a question where if an agent was making calls to their COI or past clients, the question could even be to them. And I know we're talking about networking, but a good question would be, we had such a great experience helping you do whatever it was. What would make you comfortable in order to allow us to help your friends and family? Like what actual, right? Or like something like that, a little bit deeper, right? Like not just asking for the referral even, but they might say something like, clear communication. I want you to represent them as though you're representing me. And then the follow-up to that could be, well, absolutely. I want to make sure that I know exactly what's important to you. If you're going to trust me with your friends and family referrals, then I will have to deliver on these key things that you've specified, and I'll have to give you a follow-up. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
No, you're right. Because most referrals don't happen because there's not enough clarity.
Yeah.
There's not enough clarity on the type of client you're looking for, and that you're actually available to receive clients. But finally, just knowing how to pass that client on. So if those three things, the who, how, and why, are explained, then you will actually get a lot more
and
referrals.
They'll feel confident too, right? If they're aligned with it, they're going to feel confident. You'll get those referrals.
Correct.
So, I mean, back to networking, but so just going deeper.
Just asking for help. That there's no harm in asking for support from your support team.
It's true.
Right? Taking notes. When you're in a networking session, okay, I know that there's probably not a lot of business card exchange anymore. But if once you finish talking to a person, use your phone, because the phone is such a natural, piece of equipment or accessory that you're always holding. When you're at a networking function, make sure you take notes. And what I mean by that, I know there's not a lot of business card exchanges, but a phone is often an equipment or an accessory that you're always holding. As soon as you finish talking to a person, I would just take notes, like grab their information, put notes into their bio, into their profile, just little nuggets about personal information, details about maybe their dog's name, their kid's name, something a wine that they really loved drinking.
Even an identifier, because when you're going to these networking events, if you're talking to 10 brand new people, for example, right, and trying to form connections with them, there's a lot of names to actually know. So even a personal identifier like, okay, I'm wearing a pink sweater today, Toni, pink sweater.
Yes.
Right? Because how are you going to remember? You want to get everyone straight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or even a funny story that they talked about. Maybe they even spilled wine on themselves, and something like that may remember, bring you back to a certain conversation you had during that time.
Or them too, if you're going to reference something like, hey, checking in to see how it's going. I just spilled wine on myself. Funny, huh?
That's cool. Following up. So just like that, following up on the person you just met. I had a couple of coffee meetings with some agents who came from the Empower Her conference.
Oh, yeah.
And
I heard that was amazing.
I had coffee with a couple of the agents. Those agents, so nice. They wrote cards to me, personal notes to me.
That's lovely.
Oh my gosh.
I love that. That's awesome.
I have to thank you. I'm not going to mention it, but I'm going to get on the phone, thank them for that card. What a great surprise to receive in the mail.
It's very old school. I love that.
You don't have to write a novel. You just have to write a couple lines of, thank you so much for taking the time to meet. What I took out of that, coffee session was blah, 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 blah. And so, and I think, it's such a great, it just makes someone's day. Networking with fellow agents is our final one, talking about, again, people who already are in your industry. What's great about our industry is that we understand the idea of networking. And when you're able to find people who are online, people who are already in your sphere of influence, they already probably, just like mortgage brokers.
Yeah.
They're already working with people that are on their way to wanting to learn more about real estate.
Even, for example, the managing broker conference that we went to, there were a lot of managing brokers there outside of Greater Vancouver, Fraser Valley area. So some of them were from the island. There were some from Toronto as well. It was great networking with them because ultimately, sometimes we have clients that we would have to refer out to these places, right? So who's going to actually get the referral? Well, if you're aligned with somebody and you can note that you think that they would do an excellent job for your clients, networking with fellow agents is a great way to give business back and forth, is what I want to say, like mutual referrals.
Yeah. And especially like if it's primarily online where you've never met them, and there could be your Facebook mastermind group, they could be part of your maybe LinkedIn portfolio. I would say, put it out there if you need to, if you're looking for somebody to maybe chat with and learn more about their business.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention, like we mentioned at the very beginning as well, networking is not really easy. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of time, but it's really helpful for those who don't have a lot of capital resources or reserves financially to spend money into their websites or into postcards.
Yeah.
But they end up wanting to use human capital and time as a natural way to build their business.
For sure.
And so making the connections as an introvert, what a few tips I want to maybe mention is go into smaller groups. So rather than going into conferences that are like 200 people, 300 people, go on one-on-one coffee dates. And that could maybe allow you to hold on to a lot of that energy that you're not ready to spend.
That's a wonderful tip. Bringing it all together. We talked about a lot of things today in regards to networking and maximizing your networking. I think the most effective way to network as a real estate agent is to make it a lifestyle, as we discussed at the beginning. Be constantly looking for ways to provide value for others. That's such a key thing. Not about what it's going to do for you. How do you provide value to others? That includes things like asking thoughtful questions and connecting with members of your community. Like, that's a great way to expand your database. They're not in real estate. You need to connect with those people. And, networking ultimately can give you, it allows you basically to give back, offer knowledge, and gather that information while expanding your sphere of influence. So we hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we would love to hear if you're going out networking, where your wins are. Were you able to form meaningful connections with people? Let us know how it worked for you. And yeah, can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, just bring your energy and go in with a smile, because that first impression is your energy. So enjoy networking for the rest of the year.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in.